Three's the charm as we're back, dear viewers, for the third game of tonight here at the 7th, or even last week of this summer split here at the ESLOL 2nd Division. And for that, I have by my side, still and always, to the window. Welcome back.
We're back for the third game, and I really can't wait, because the last game was really exciting with, this Trundle, just this early, he had one assignment, gank. Imagine the jungler that ganks, and he was like, wait, hold my keyboard.
That's me.
No, it is not me, it is like, no, basically, a lot of people complain about their junglers not ganking, and there we have the jungler that really wanted to gank, like he went for it, he had the assignment and he knew what he had to do, so he did.
Yeah, and with that, securing a good game and a good win for his team next against Full Clear Esports. It's absolutely, production said it during the break, it's the redemption arc of so many teams who've had a rough time at the start and are now back at climbing this ladder. As seems like there is a mistake there, although there shouldn't. But as they're climbing back up the ladder to try and secure a spot here at the playoffs of the ESLOL 2nd Division. Yeah, there we go. Now we have the situation hasn't resolved further. Before we had a 4-way tie between 4 teams. Now we have a 3-way tie between 3 teams, we're at the same point almost as earlier, so everything is still open for these 3rd and 4th spots at the playoffs, and we'll have to see how it pans out. Dynasty is going to play against the SLOTHS now, maybe an upset coming up towards us, putting them back in a good position for the race, and later on we'll have Aurora against Once Upon a Team. So maybe things happening there too, but there we go. Champ select for the 3rd game of tonight, Dynasty versus SLOTHS, and we start off with a Maokai ban against Shredded.
So we're having the Maokai that is banned. It has been played a lot as, around all the teams. Just a really valuable character, as well as Rel. Really dominant in the jungle at the moment. Gna also has been shown by Lex that we take no prisoner. He just smashes them, and if you let that Gna open, it might be something that you do not want to reckon with.
True.
Still, these 3 characters are characters that have been played a lot. Nico also is something that, if played a lot or not, already by this is kind of our button champion. If you already have this Nico that ults and CCs your carries or your actions that you want to do to get actually to your goals, Nico can kind of be a neck breaker because of that strong ulti. Kindred also really strong at the moment, really dominant jungler, has been also played a lot around the season.
Yeah, and another champion also that Shredded does like, although he wasn't able to play it a lot himself this season, as I believe it was banned quite a lot against the SLOTHS, who overall have very strong players, and we have quite a few bans against them. Udi ban here. Yes, you want to say?
The Udi is banned, but one thing still did not got banned. Where is the Nautilus ban?
Where is the Nautilus ban?
Where is the Nautilus ban? Grisna has shown every time again, you let it open, no problem. I hope you have your shitty pants on, because it's about to be very violent on this rift. And Dynasty seems to let it open at the moment, do not care too much about it, which in my opinion should not be taken that easily. And we have both first ADCs, or actually could also be Tristana mid lane, but Kaiser also could speculate, but let's say on the start that they might be ADCs. So we have an ADC on the side of Dynasty and an ADC of a side of Rift SLOTHS.
Yeah. And a lot of flex picking potential, as you mentioned, however. Sejuani we've seen, I believe, last week also on Shredded. Let's not also forget Rifslovs with the counter pick here. Probably usually left for the top lane. So you might see a support here to round up maybe a potential bot lane here. And keep that flexibility of the Tristana pick open by not picking an obvious mid lane. On the sides of Dynasty, we confirm a Jax for the top lane and a Jace probably for the mid lane.
I mean, it is still all very open. I mean, we saw last game that Jace was mid lane. We know that Jax can play top lane, he can play jungle. We have Sejuani is a typical jungler, but could be played top lane. I mean, I would not see why not. I mean, you play with Grasp of the Undying and you become a monster tank. And that is exactly what I meant, because now we see an Xayah, and with that, we kinda can confirm that Tristana is going for that mid lane. So we do not have that traditional assassin or control mage character on the mid lane. Exactly for Dynasty the same, because they're having Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa can be played bot lane, she can be played mid lane. I mean, we saw this in previous seasons. That AP does work on her. Also, actually at the moment, because it's really strong with Static Shiv and you have a completely AP build, which works pretty well with her. I mean, it is strong.
Yeah, with that, Rifslovs confirmed that Tristana is going mid. They discard the flexibility thereof, but this is something else that's interesting, because that puts Dynasty in a position of, okay, Nautilus is open. Do we ban the Nautilus? Do we just leave it open and try to ban further potential counter picks for that Jax? Or actually, maybe now that Jax probably still top lane, however, Rifslovs could go in. Oh, they ban the Nautilus themselves. That seems... that's pretty surprising.
You cannot ban with what I banned, you know?
Yeah, you can ban my main!
I mean, we're seeing a Yuumi, so speculation open, but I don't think that Yuumi will play another lane. So we're going to have Xayah and Yuumi on the bot side. Oh no! It is a cannon! So it is going to be Sejuani and jungle, cannon topside.
What has Grizzon planned for us? Can't be Nautilus. For once. And yeah, keeping the counter pick on the support, that's also like something a bit puzzling. You don't see that every day.
I think it has to be like modules, like the champs, like it goes like the stages of the. You have to go through it like the stages of the champ select. So if you see that they're going for Kai'Sa, I mean, normally you would play her on the bot side, but since you can also play her mid lane, it does give her flexibility. And Tristana is, in my opinion, the perfect answer to it, because it says exactly the same. It's like, hey, I'm an ADC, but you can play me on mid lane. It's like, gives the same message. So I like the way of drafting, to be honest, because until we saw Cannon, which is pretty late in the drafting phase, I mean, you can speculate it, but it is never sure. So I would have been open to see Sejuani on top side, to be honest. I would have, until Cannon came up. But now, since the draft is done, we are having Jax, Gragas, Jace, Kai'Sa, and Leona on the side of Dynasty, and we're having Cannon, Sejuani, Tristana, Kai'Sa, Xayah, and the Big Bad Bull.
Big Bad Bull. On the bot lane for Grizzon. He's played it also already a few times here. Has been switching it around. Just find it really funny to ban that Nautilus on the Rifslovs side. Just saying, you know what? I'm doing that for you. And also a really good answer against that Leona, actually. I mean, the Leona, so much potential to engage. One of the most aggressive bot laners out there, supports. And I mean, the Alistair is just like, sure, you can engage, I'll just kick you away. And that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. And he's just gonna moo it out. And yeah, so mid lane in the end, Tristana against Jace. I mean, both ranged AD champions. I think Tristana does have, I mean, the W makes her so safe. Even if Jace finds the good angle, goes all in, can always get away with the rocket jump. So should be pretty safe in that lane. And able to poke him out if Khan dodges his Qs, because if that Tristana gets poked out of the health, it's gonna be a rough one still.
Yeah, I mean, the champ select is pretty interesting, I would say, because now let's do it from top to bot. So we're having Jax against Cannon. So Cannon is pretty much that team fighter you want to have at some time, because he just does a lot of damage and jumps in and CCs everybody with the ultimate. Where Jax is more like that side pusher. I'm kind of afraid that Jax is going to be really oppressive on the side lane. And will keep Lex stuck on the top lane.
Yeah.
Now for the jungling, I mean, Sejuani is a beast tank. I mean, it has so much sticking power. And then you have Gragas that is like really annoying CC. Has a lot of utility with the bomb and the slows and regeneration power. I mean, it is a really strong champion. Early game, it is a really strong champion mid game. I mean, it is a really strong champion overall, in my opinion.
Very decent
Then
damage.
you have Jace against Tristana. You have, I mean, Jace kind of does everything. You want to go all in, no problem. You want to stay range, no problem. Where Tristana is more like that ADC that wants to jump in, commit for the kill, go all in, and really go for it. But Jace will just kick you away, so...
Yeah.
If he plays it well, I don't think that Tristana will be very successful with that, since the range itself is not that big, but the jump just helps to go. But as soon as you jumped in, you committed for it, so you do not want to jump back. Like, if you commit for it.
Absolutely.
And then we have on the bot lane, we have Kai'Sa and Leona. So Kai'Sa is pretty weak early stages. And I think bot lane will struggle, in my opinion, against Xayah and Alistar, because Alistar can just knock back Leona when she engages, so that it's no problem. Kai'Sa has a really short range, where Xayah is really more like that pokey champion, and in my opinion will be more the oppressive champion in that lane. With a lot of poke, with the feather, she has a really big range, so this will, in my opinion, make it really hard for Kai'Sa. Overall, though, it's hard to say. I mean, because you have topside, where the Jax really wants to split push, and he is never going to let he's never going to let Lex leave the lane, and if he does, he's just going to push as hard as possible. On the other side, you have the bot side that is really strong. So for Rift Sloths. So in my opinion, Gragas will still mainly stay on the bot lane, like normally the jungler also should on the side of the Rift Sloths. But I'm really undecided how it will go. I think it will have a lot of impact as soon as you know who is going to be the oppressive one on the top side. Because if Cannon will be early oppressive, he will have roam timings, and these roam timings might give an advantage because of the ultimate and secure just kills, so your team can move on without you. On the other hand, if Jax wins the lane, he will just stick so hard to it, and Cannon will never be able to leave. That is going to be a nightmare for Cannon.
Yeah, which is a bit problematic because overall the Rift Sloths comp here really strong in team fights. I mean, Cannon, Sejuani have so much CC to keep the enemies where they want it, and with Alistar they also have that very strong all-in if they decide to go in. and I mean the Xayah and Tristana, they're just there. Backup damage, they can just shred through the enemies. Meanwhile, Dynasty is able to play really well around that. I mean, you've said it, they have the split push. They can really well pick people when they want as well. And they should have a pretty decent push, so all in all, and I even will see how that goes as we headed into the game, ladies and gentlemen. Dynasty versus the Rift Sloths here in the last week of the ESLOL 2nd Division Summer Split.
So again, the classical let's close the doors. Nothing too exciting now for the first minute. And I mean, we see that on the bot side, Tristana is going for some vision and they're grouping up now. So maybe I might be wrong again and they will enter. And yes, they will enter the jungle. So the jungler, okay, Gragas didn't show himself. So they actually do not know where Gragas is. He could have like hidden at the red buff, but also could have just be top lane to start on top lane. So Rift is pretty clueless at the moment. And as soon as he's going, I think Gragas is going to get spotted at the ward, because we can see if the ward will actually see Gragas if he comes out of the map, out of the bushes. Okay, really interesting that one.
Bit of a situation here on the bot lane, knock up on Crabblord is gonna allow Adafla to put some damage on him, but yeah. That's it. That's a level 1 fight. That's peak level 1.
Peak level 1ing on the bot side. So
yeah.
I mean the oh my god, the ward from Rift is plays pretty much a chicken, so they know that Gragas started on bot side and rotates. Well, that he basically rotates downsides.
Another knock up here. Still level 1 though.
On the other side we have Sejuani that is, yeah, also pathing bot side, but having started on the opposite side of the map. In farm wise, I mean, we already see Jax having the early oppression, since his level 1 is really strong with the E, with his stun. And as soon as he becomes level 2, he has a really big range to jump on people. So this is something Cannon, I think, will have to respect, but as soon as respected, as we can see now, will be able to play against it, because Cannon still is an AP champion, needs his ability to play, and will never win the auto attack game, let's call it like that.
Especially against someone like Jax, who's like the auto attack master.
Yeah, pretty much. He's going to tank his lamp and just, yeah, hit you with it a lot of times.
Crabblords, when they hit level 2 and shove that wave into the Rift Sloths, immediately rotated to put a ward in the enemy jungle, getting a beat where Shredded is at, and I really like that. Gives them so much information, and the Rift Sloths don't know that. But Dynasty can easily react to something a Shredded might do without Rift Sloths knowing, so that's really good on their part. And that's especially good since Humulu wouldn't be there to counter gank or anything, he's on the top side. Allows them to still be defensive. Looks like he's prepping for a gang on the top lane. Flash in from Hazagi, flash out from Lex, flash for Flash in the meantime in the mid lane. Shred coming in, flash out from Frankie. A lot of flashes falling now. Just before the 4th minute.
Yes.
Oh, careful, Lex gets stunned here by Humulu. And I don't think he's gonna get away from there. Second stun, first blood goes to Hazagi. Shredded goes in with the flash himself. But yeah, Gragas is a nifty, shifty dodger.
So this is now the scenario, not fully made, but yeah, I'm ambitious to see how this is going to evolve for Cannon now on the top side, because now we have the Jax having the advantage. I mean, we got the first blood, that's a lot of gold in the early stages.
In the mid lane, bit of a situation, Bakan getting really low, but the stage James are roasting around the corner, and that's a kill going to Bakan.
That was very, very beautifully played. I mean, with all that CC, could just not get in anymore. That was very good. I mean, it's where we get an advantage on the top side for Dynasty, Rift takes advantage on another side. I mean, kill for kill on, I mean, yeah, worthness for worthness on different lanes. Also, since Tristana is 10 CS behind, so I think having that kill is good.
Here's the engage I talked about. Krablot goes in, Grizzon just pushes the enemy away. Safe situation.
It is pretty much a safe situation. I mean, when you have something like Pyke, Pyke is maybe now not such a good example.
Moon coming in, here's the flash from Krablot to get the root on Grizzon. He does end up in a kill. Krablot himself, very low though, is able to survive from out of this feathers.
I mean, we do have a lot of CC on both teams. I mean, we have Sejuani with 1, 2 with ultimate stuns. We have Alistar with the knock up with the passive. With yeah, I mean, and on the other side the same. We have Jax with the E. We have Gragas with the bomb, with slow. We have Leona with 2 stuns. I mean, we are having on both teams so much CC,
yeah.
And I think the best thing both teams can do is just to focus the best possible way the carries they want to focus, so that they get the character advantage to play those fights out.
Yeah, absolutely. Now Lex, rough time on the top lane still, and is gonna get ganked by Humelu with Krablot at his assistance. No vision to one him. He is level 6 though. Tower diving, a level 6 cannon, is dangerous. But they manage it. Krablot gets out, albeit being stunned for quite a bit. And that's another kill for Dynasty.
That was a little bit greedy in my opinion from Lex, knowing that there are 3 people coming from the dive. I mean, if they would be like 2 squishies, that would have been better. I mean, Leona is not that fed, or let's say like that big of a tank at the moment, that she could not tank it. But still, I mean, they were all full HP, there were 3 people, Jax still has the advantage. Should have just backed off and respect the fact that there are too many people. If this, I mean, if the aggro would have been fine, enough damage would have come out.
Here comes the counterplay on the bot lane. In the meantime, they set up for a tower dive. Dark Unity is getting really low and is gonna end up dying at the hands of Grizzon. Exactly, Prison that shredded through. And they got some money out of it. So there's still answer to it, but Dynasty definitely currently kind of setting the pace. Most importantly, Humelu, currently 100% kill participation, being all over the map, always doing a play for his teammates. Definitely playing this really well.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're talking about, like, this...
Yeah, Humelu getting caught by the Rift Loves, and that's a kill going to be Khan.
Yeah, like, it's like utilizing the fact that you have junglers that really engage and on the right spot early on. You have something like Sejuani, you have something like Gragas, you have a lot of engage with that, you have a lot of CC, you have a lot of possibilities to play out these these engages. Also Drake-wise,
I didn't even realize Rift Loves have already done the first one.
yes, Rift has done the first one.
And with those 2 picks, they're back equal in terms of gold, with a nice lead on Buchan, which sets him really good in this mid lane. Some Heralds done by Humelu with Zaki as backup.
So we really see the difference at the moment.
Dodge by Ardaflies in the bot lane. The fight starts to go out a bit between Grizzon and Dynasty's bot lane. Is able to retreat, and Ardaflu was in a bit of a awkward position where he couldn't really help without getting CC chained.
I mean, we do see the difference between the 2 playstyles of the jungler, where it's the stun.
Solar Blaze going in on Grizzin really low. He's forced to flash away with the Ignite. Is he gonna survive? Thanks for him. The root of the Ardafla does God's work and saves Grizzin's life as they're not able to keep pushing. Dynasty's bot lane now really low. Has to step back a bit.
This was very well played from Dynasty. And exactly, I mean, you see that Ardafla just had the bag of his support, not backing off of it, just keeping the auto attacks up to shred the enemies down so that they could not tower dive it. I mean, that was really well played from Ardafla.
Yeah, and now he's finished his mythic item. Dragon Slayer went back to reset. Goes back into the lane stronger than before. Dark Unique might be finishing off this wave and then back himself off reset. Driv is gonna be able to pick that up. And I'm on a good spot. This thing start unraveling in this game.
Yeah, I mean, there's you see the same patterns from characters on both teams, but the playstyle is really executed completely different. Like you can clearly see it on the farm. You have the Gragas with 60 farm, and then you have Sejuani with 80. That's prioritized more, getting more farm to probably be a bigger tank or just be more resourceful in the more mid lane stages of the game.
Yeah. And a very aggressive place on the bot lane now. We have the Herald being put down on the mid lane. We can't judge that explosive cast, but 3 people sieging that turret with Demolish on top. It's gonna be rough defending it unless the Red Drifts come. Here we have the Smite and Shredded comes in. The stun Tooth Rank is not gonna go out, but with Grizzin maybe with the knock up here. No, flashes out of the way and the situation turns around as Scrabble comes back in. Now they have to be careful with their AD carry. Wilfsdorf can fight this out. Legs is joining in. It's 5v5 soon, but first kill and maybe only kill goes to the Sloths.
I mean, that is a good situation for Tristana. I mean, she gets her second kill. Even though staying behind in farm, she gets those kills, so it's kind of putting itself equally back on gold, let's say like that. I think there will be a little difference between both of them, but nothing that will put Tristana out of game. On the bot side, exactly the same. I mean, we have Ardafla with like 20 CS lead more.
Oh, here you can see the team fight again. It's the
I mean,
ultimate. That's where it starts unraveling. We have Dynasty coming back in, as you can see. And just a bunch of like here and there between the two teams. Then Ardafla comes in a situation, turns around. Look at the damage he puts out on Crablord. What a nice team fight by the Rift Sloths.
It was beautifully played. I mean, it was really beautifully played. So, gold-wise overall, we are pretty same on both sides. We have Dynasty with 21.7, Rift with 21.9, now 22. So, I mean, those 200 gold is not something that is too ravaging for neither of those teams. Now, game-wise, I will say, I mean, the scaling, in my opinion, is pretty same on both teams. I mean, maybe Kaiser a little bit more than others, but since they have Cannon on top side, he's doing pretty well with the damage though. So from the team composition, I could not tell who is doing better.
And we have the engage on the bot lane, but Shredder just around the corner is able to turn the situation around. Here we have Crablord falling under his own turret, and now we're Sloths with full wave and keep pushing that turret. But Tumulu just around the corner, although there is a ward, is going to flash in, surprise them for a bit, but they saw that coming, and the CC is right behind it to get him down. Rift after Afla picks up a second kill.
I mean, the play was really beautifully played. I mean, they didn't know that he was there, he flashed in, he got everyone stunned, but there was no follow-up. So it was kind of, you know, look what I can do, but they could not, he couldn't, like, Kumulu couldn't, like, go further than that, which in my opinion shouldn't have done it. I mean, still wasted flash for it. Wasted flash for having a good play is, sad in that moment, I think.
Well, as it goes, Rift now slowly but surely, starting to build up lead. 2k gold ahead and 2 drakes, meaning that they have the drake point with the next drake if they get it, and Dynasty has to start revving their engines and turn the situation around if they want to come out as victors. With the next Rift Herald spawning soon, they start hang around, building vision around there.
So we really see that both of the teams are really playing for the vision. We have TP coming in to be in time there, and the fight starts.
The fight starts here. Humelu already getting really low as he is the first to fall. So does Dark Uniq. Bakan, however, has to be careful as himself as well as Sasaki was upon him. In the meantime, 3 members of Ristov's take down Frankie. Humelu was able to flee, barely alive. Meanwhile, Riftsloths haven't lost a single soul. They're able to keep pushing against Dynasty.
I mean, there goes the mid tower, that is good. We open the map, that is something... Oh, even for the second tower they can go. I mean, they kind of cannot respond to that since their mid laner is in the grayscale at the moment. Like, we can see we have the Sidrani jumping in again, and so really the cannon just trying to go for like protecting the backline, playing with the tanks. I mean, this was really pretty played by Lex.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this Slicing Maelstrom comes in handy in such team fights. Being able to dish out a lot of CC. What they did really well as well was they got Frankie quite fast. They were able to kind of split Dynasty. And the rest of Dynasty, they had no choice but to go on Bakan, which it's a Tristana, it just rocket jumps away. You're not gonna do much afterwards. Worst case, it pushes you back again if you can't stay behind them, but worked really well. And with that, Herald on Ardafla, Riftsloths can keep the push going. 4k gold ahead now. Trying to catch Lex, very nice exploding cast as Lex gets really low, slashing Maelstrom to win some time. The stun goes through. Masaki gets some turret damage, has to be careful, and Lex survives with some health.
I mean, what Dynasty really wants now is just to get those such shutdowns. Doesn't matter who it is from. I mean, of course, the higher the better, but we are having a shutdown on everybody besides of Cannon, and that's just the goal. You want to like focus into your carries to get yourself back into game so that carries have enough damage to play the game.
Opening up mid turret with that Herald, which got quote-unquote 2 charges, the first one landing on the broken turret essentially. I think it's really funny. Every member of the Riftsloths here, except for Lex, they're like 2-0 or 2-1. It's beautiful. Like the alignment looks so good. Yeah, picking up that soul point for the Riftsloths now. Everything is going according to plan. Good team fight just before Herald. Pick up Herald, push that mid lane, be just in time to grab the Drake just as it spawns and secure soul point. The Riftsloths are currently in full control. Yeah, there you have it. Every single one of their members except for Lex currently ahead in gold, with of course the most important member, the AD carry, having the Grawl of the Gold, almost at 1.5k gold lead, which is pretty decent. It's more than a BF sword even. That sets them in a really good position to further grow their lead and eventually pick that game.
So still, we are staying at the same point that these shutdowns really need to get funneled into some of the carries, like Kaiser or even Jax or Jace. I mean, that would be also okay. But I think these questions would be answered in the next couple of minutes, because we have Baron that is going to spawn now, and this should be the play to go to Baron, try to get a pick or contest the Baron, try to get Baron. so that, yeah, for example, now for Dynasty that they will have it, but it looks like
Azaki getting caught here on the bot lane as Ripsloths go all in. With the CC not able to do much against Beacon's damage. And now we have Frankie's TP in. Gets Q not hit. And with that CC should be dying. But the rest of his team is just there rather around the corner. Crablord is there. And this dissuades Ripsloths to push too much in. But they have to be careful. Arda flying the mid lane, picking that inhibitor for free. The rest of Ripsloths pushing in the bot lane, Risen coming for the back as they engage. A lot of damage falling already on Shredded, but he is able to survive. Lex goes all in, but dies at the hands of Frankie, but the push keeps on going for the Ripsloths. Crablord now flashes on the turret, gets stunned, survives barely from Bikan's damage. Now Adafla from the sides comes in, swoops in, gets the kill on the support, on the enemy AD carry. Now Frankie all alone is gonna die at the hands of Bikan. In the meantime, Hazaki has respawned to Weber. So no ace for the Ripsloths, but they're 4 versus 1 and can keep the push going.
that was really beautifully played by the Slavs. I mean, first Grissom coming from the back, which they did not expect it because they did not have the vision for it. Second, they lost so much on the mid lane for committing all your players to the bot side. I mean, already your Jax should have been left to die. I mean, as we can see, we just see Greason coming from the side, even though Kaiser had the ulti. But I mean, again there we get the CC, so Tristana can put the damage in it, and we have a clean fight. After that, we just have the Xayah coming back, and she just cleaned the rest up. I mean, beautifully macro played by Ripsloths.
Yeah, the rotations just in time for them to better win this fight, deepening their lead, and yeah, they just keep the push going. They got the tier 2 bot lane, they now take tier 1 in the middle lane. The map is opening up quite nicely for them, and Baron is now up. Dynasty still has objective bounties it can maybe take. They have the mid lane turret, which is really low. This could already be some money to funnel in their pockets. They have to be careful about that Baron because it's gonna die really fast. I'm not sure they can even contest it.
This is something they cannot contest. The map is completely open for Rift, and Dynasty is limited also like on wards and where they need to put their vision. And going to that point of putting that vision could be like extremely deadly, yes, extremely deadly.
Look at the vision coverage on the top lane jungle from Ripsloths, right?
Yes.
They have a whole circle around that Baron. If someone was coming, they knew it.
Yes, they would know it.
Tier 2 top lane resetting. Next Drake is in 32nd. It is the soul for the Ripsloths as they are at soul point, and it's perfect timing. They want to rotate in that direction. They've had Bikan already set up the wave, start pushing in there. And they're taking their time to properly, beautifully finish up this game.
I mean, what would help is for Dynasty is definitely getting like this 600 gold and this 550 gold from Tristana and Xayah, because that would be like a lot of gold, like almost half an item. To give him enough damage to burst through. Does not look like they can contest it, so this will look like a free soul point for Ripsloths.
Yes, Dynasty not in any way, shape or form able to contest it. They had to push back the top lane, they had to push back the mid lane, which is constantly pushing. Now with this Chemtech soul, Ripsloths decide to go in action. Mid lane is of course pushing naturally, they have to wave on the bot lane. With that Baron buff, they can easily go all in. Risen engaging here, they go all in. Lex with the slicing maelstrom doesn't really find purchase, but still pushes them away as Frankie is already midlife. Now Shredder joins in, does the front line. They can just take that inhib turret and push them back to the base. Already so low. Now we have the connection on Dark Unicube, but Hazaki coming in just in time to save his AD carry. TP coming in from Lex to back just to get some health back, and the push keeps on pushing. Bot lane inhib down. First turret of the Nexus is also being done at the hands of this cannon minion, and this is the last stand for Dynasty as they find purchase onto Lex, but Krabbler just dies so fast that they keep on flying like the fly. Sasaki is forced to use a stopwatch. They get some kills, but Sasaki really low. Dies, quadra kill for Bakana. Sumulu, the sole survivor, tries to flee. Is it gonna be the pentakill for the Rift Sloths? They most certainly are looking for it, but Tumulu doesn't let himself be beaten down by that. Bakan coming in with the rocket jump. Here comes the bomb. Can we get the slow? No, he keeps on going. Pentakill for Bakan. Wow, what a long one.
Really long one.
And perfect. They just waited for the penta and finished the game. Beautiful.
I mean, it was really beautifully played, because I mean, from the champ select on, it was just like thinking about what is going to happen, how is it going to happen, and why is this happening. Like, these are like the 3 questions in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely a few confusing moments. Maybe some of them will be cleared up very soon. Because we will once again be having an interview like we do each game with the winning player, and I believe our guest is going to be Krisen, and I really have to ask him one very specific question, so I hope this is ready very soon. I also just realized now that it's got pretty dark in the meantime, and I forgot to turn on my lights because I wanted to save lights, and now I just look like something out of a horror movie or something. Look like this. I almost broke my lamp. I'm just not gonna try to do anything.
That's fine.
Anyway, back to topic. Interview is ready. As I've told you, we're welcoming none other than the support of the Rift Sloths. Risen, welcome back.
Hello, I'm happy to be here, thank you.
Always a pleasure to have you. I will shoot off my question right off the bat. So, banning Nautilus now?
My question!
Yeah.
My question!
I mean, I can play anything and I don't mind not playing Nautilus, and I think they needed some kind of engage, and possibly they could pick it in the jungle for a tank matchup where he's not under a lot of threat, and I think it was just a good ban for us, and I think we tried to draft objectively, and we don't need to play Nautilus to win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you showed that for sure. It was just, it's really funny seeing you.
Yeah, it is fun. It is a bit of a meme, right? Like, I think I've only played 2 champs, Nautilus or Alistar. I played 1 game of Ashe, right?
Ashe, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, going strong. 3-0 during the summer split. 1 more match ahead of you. I think you should be pretty confident going into it. Next up are the playoffs, for sure. What is your beat on that? Because as a team, Rift Sloths for now, their playoffs have been kind of cursed, right? What's your take for this time around, for the summer split?
I mean, I haven't been part of the curse, so I hope that it will not happen again, obviously. But representing the name and how we've been doing so far, I think we could potentially be even stronger in best of series, because I think best of ones is where it's more probable cause for an upset. So I think that the best of series would benefit us, actually.
Yeah, that's fair. And so we're at the end of the split, and I think it's really interesting to maybe have your point of view on that. In my opinion, a lot of teams have grown quite a lot over the course of the split, and I believe just you're in a good position to maybe the judge of that a bit. Which team, in your opinion, might be the most dangerous now with all the progress they've done over the course of the split in the playoffs?
That's a really hard question. I'm not sure. I haven't really been paying a lot of attention to nameplates and what teams were playing, but I think that Full Clear can maybe pull out something crazy, because they have had some quite creative drafts, so to say. I think
Yeah.
maybe that could catch us off guard, and I think maybe they could be the ones to upset us.
Alright. So if you put your money on a team, it's Folklore Esports, which are of course also still qualified for the playoffs, or already qualified for the playoffs with their 8 wins, albeit the upset of today.
I think last time we played them, they picked like full ADs in Xiao and Heimerdinger. You know, it didn't work out for them, but you know, those are the kind of drafts where you can really be like surprised by it.
Yeah, taking aback, and maybe unable to handle it. That's very fair. There's still 2 more spots open technically for the playoffs. I mean, it's this big tie between the middle of the pack teams. Do you have maybe an idea of who might be going into it? I know it's kind of redundant with what's before. It's in the same branch, but maybe.
Definitely.
Guess?
If I have to be completely honest, I don't know the teams that are competing for the playoff spot, so I can't say that. And that's no disrespect. It's just my lack of attention.
All fair. Well, any hoot, I think we're good on here, unless to the window you still have a question.
My question has been answered.
All right then. Thank you, Grizzin, for taking your time.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure. I wish you a wonderful evening, and I can't wait to see you guys play in the playoffs.
Likewise.
Now, dear viewers, without any further ado, I think we'll head into another short break, prepare for the last game of tonight, and the 5th last game of the split already, as we're headed towards playoffs. This matchup will be Once Upon a Team versus Aurora, so stay tuned for that, and we'll see you very soon.